Okay, we are going to try and sample these bees from both the top and the bottom. And I'm using enough light here that they're getting a little excited, even though it's pretty cool in here today. So I've got labels. I'm going to do a couple hives. I don't want to have a whole complicated sample. Just going to do a couple hives, top and bottom, see if they're the same or see if they're different. So we got hive, these jars are marked hive 1, hive 2, bottom and top. So let's pick them. We think these hives here are ones that weren't treated. Some of these look like they're still, this one's dead. These three I think are good. So let's pick, I don't know, the inside and the outside one. Let's have a look. It also gives me the middle hive to put my jars on. So, flip the lid, see what we got. Quite a nice looking hive. Got the hive 1 top. I'm interested to see if this sucker works as well on the top. So I've got the snout kind of tapered down instead of up. That does a very nice job. I'll try to take equal size samples for each one, so we don't have to count all the bees. Okay, so that, despite the fact that hive is untreated, it's actually really quite a beauty. Okay, now close it up. Hive 1 bottom. I want to reverse my snout here so that now I'm sucking up from the top side. Very similar size sample. Okay, these two we'll take from here. That one also looks quite prosperous at the top. A little bit of condensation under the lid. Hive 2 top. Oh, I should do the bottom first because I'll have to reconfigure my snout once. Hive 2 bottom. We'll get a ton here or not. The hives, I should be able to get some there if I just wake them up a little bit. The bees are just in behind this entrance here. Okay, well that's a bit of a failure. Just couldn't quite grab that cluster. So let's not do that hive. We'll do this one. There's lots of bees right at the door. Good. Okay, we think about 100 bees based on the work we did before. Nice 2 balls. Now the top. Lots of bees there. You can probably see them. No, I guess you can. Oh yeah, you can see them popping up out of the lid there. Okay. Flip this over. Beautiful. Well, I will say, whatever else we get out of this, that's about as easy a way to get a sample as you can get. As long as it works, right? The reason you dug into the middle of your hive to take a sample is because you knew what those numbers meant. Taking them off the top, taking them off the bottom, who the heck knows if that's accurate or not. So we're going to go find out. I'll soak these in alcohol overnight and we'll shake them out tomorrow. Here's our 4 samples side by side. You can see that they're all roughly the same amount of bees. So it makes sense that they should have roughly the same amount of mites. The next day, these samples have been sitting in alcohol all night. Everything in there should be pretty loose. We'll give them all a good shake, and then we're going to use the colander to check mite counts. I know our provincial apiarist has told me once, if you're not shaking body parts of the bees loose, you're maybe not shaking enough. So we'll give them a lot of that action. Should build a machine to do this. I often collect samples and they bang around in my trucks for a couple days before I have a chance to count them, so that often does a lot of the work. Okay. So, hive 1, top. Clean on the inside. Yeah, that's probably good. Pull that back. Ah, nothing but foam. I'm seeing some mites. I have to wait a minute or two for that to die down. It's the downside of using the windshield washer antifreeze instead of straight alcohol is you do have a slight soap in there, but the soap and alcohol combination is pretty effective. I've been some talk in the comments about whether you should use soap or alcohol, and well, I'm doing both. Okay. So, bring this in. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4 mites. Oh. Once the soap dies down, there's more. Count them again. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, try again. Now, hive 1 bottom. So here's the moment of truth. Are they comparable or are they wildly different? Our hypothesis, or at least some of the folks that have an opinion, have said I'm sucking up all sorts of mites off the bottom board, and that's why my numbers are so crazy high. So if that hypothesis were true, we would have many more mites in this hive than we do from those sucked off the top bars. That's the hypothesis we're trying to test here. Now, if they're the same, I'm not sure what that tells us, but it tells us that we're not biasing the results in that way. I don't know, there's mites here. There's a fair few. They didn't all, okay. They're really scattered around this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Seven, 8, 9, 10. I'll just double check that with a flat edge to make sure we're not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Well, that's not crazy different. Okay, let's try that again. You don't want to draw any conclusions from a single experiment. Clean piece of cloth. Hive 2, top. And again, there's for sure mites there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's just tangle up on here. That's better. Okay, dump those out. Last sample, bottom. Fortunately, it didn't fall all the way in. There's one there. 2. Lose track of that one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's fewer off the bottom than off the top. Well, ain't that interesting? And if you add it up together, let's get these numbers out here. So here, 8 top, 10 bottom, 12 top, 7 bottom. You add those up, you'd have 8 and 12 is 20, 10 and 7 is 17, slightly more from the top than the bottom. But you know, you'd have to get more samples, and I think you'd probably find that you would trend towards the median on those. So the idea that all of our troubles are bad data, sucking up extra mites, I don't think that's it. Keep in mind, these hives were sampled from the test hives that did not have treatments last fall. Ian's asking what the heck's going on with all the regular hives. So I'm going to do some sampling of that right now, and I guess there'll be a new video on that. But I will, now I'll do aggregate samples. I'll fill up these jars, probably 10 hives each, and I'll do 3 or 4 of them. And we'll see what those show us. I'm hoping it's not, because I thought those were about 100 bees. So, we're talking 10% on average. That's not good. But that gives me some hives. Now, those are real nice looking hives. There was nothing wrong with those hives at all. Is that what hives look like when every single mite that's ever been in the brood is hatched out? The hives are broodless? I don't know. I've looked in the literature a little bit. I don't see a lot of hive count numbers for our area that are, like there's a lot of ability to try to predict, in September, if you got more than 1 or 2% mites, you've got a big problem. I think that operates on the assumption that a big part of the mites are under the brood. And so, phoretic mites are a small percentage. At this point, phoretic mites, the mites on the bees' bodies, are 100% of all the mites in the hive. So that might be telling us something different. I don't know. Anyway, that's food for thought for today. Thanks a lot. Keep well.